the first and the major thing I'm going to say right now, there's going to be a lot of other components, but a lot of that's going to come out as we work on like these different sections. But I do want to hear briefly, want to just take a couple minutes before I give you a breather before we get into our like skills portion of the class, so as we work on the individual skills.
The Storm Hunter WX weather app is free to download and use and provides you with warning of severe weather even before the National Weather Services issue alerts. This advanced weather app is an important tool for awareness of severe weather that I use every day. Download and use it totally free without in-app purchases on iOS or Android at the link below.
So a couple of pointers or takeaways or ahas or crap, I wish I didn't do that, that sort of thing. What do y'all got?
Count the actual number of rounds you have loaded. Because normally I start with one chamber and a full mag, and I didn't count for that. So when I came in, I was empty chamber. Even though I'd executed a reload, I wound up having to cycle the slide. So it was like, do the math.
Sure, sure. Well, so, and then that's like another strategy thing, because like I knew that between 6 shots over here, 6 shots here, that's 12, 4, although I had to take like 7 on the steel, what does that get me up to? Like 19, and I was running a 22 round mag. So I'm thinking, I know I have, like, I'm not going to run into an empty slide situation, even if my slide failed to lock on an empty. When I do that reload, not even thinking about any of that. It's just get the new mag in, I'm up on the next target.
With 12, instead of 12 plus 1, I knew I had 12, I took a makeup shot. So when I got...
Yep. Yeah.
22 rounds. No one needs that many rounds.
Now, let me ask you what's easier. Is it easier to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc., as you shoot the stage? Or is it easier to go, I know I'm going to shoot these ones here, and that's 6, these ones here, that's 12, those ones there, that's 16, and let's say I'm running a 17 plus, like a Glock 17 plus 1. Let's say I have 1 or 2 makeups. Is it easier to count the makeups and just know ahead of time that if I have any makeups, I know I can take 2 max before I'm completely out? Or is it like, obviously it's easier to like know kind of about what you got, and then that's how I approach stages like in actual matches, especially when round counts get a little bit tricky. I'm purely thinking, shoot these many here, these many here, these many here, and I look for actual opportunities. I will look at targets, for instance, like a 25-yard partial, like a 25-yard target that has a no shoot that's covering like half of it. I'm going to be a little bit extra careful on that, because that's a hard shot. 25 yards with very little A-zone left after a no shoot's pasted over top of it. There's a good chance I may have 1 makeup on that target, because when I get on that target and I go poo, poo, and I don't like something that I saw, I'm gonna make sure I send another one and make sure I like that one, because, and so I look for opportunities. Like here, I was like, well, I might have a makeup or 2 or 3 on the steel, but not concerned about that, because I know I have, like, even with that, I've got plenty of rounds to work with before I do my reload.
So I shoot a single stack 10, I know how to do reload. I was thinking I could do it, so when I got there, I thought about doing that, but I had 11 rounds when I got there if I didn't have any misses. So as soon as I had a miss, then I had to do a stand and reload. So I guess if I want to play more conservatively, I should have shot this. It would have been better shoot the steel with a mag, and then do another mag, and then I'd have 10 to finish that up.
Yeah, and that's some strategy that single stack shooters or production shooters that only have 10 rounds too have to, and that's what I'm going to shoot probably towards the end of the class. I'll do this one more time, like you guys will do it one more time. And I'm going to do 10 and 10 and 10 kind of thing, because that's good practice. Good stuff. Who else?
I saw
Amanda.
A lot of people seem to be like surprised when they ran empty.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know much, but the one thing I know is like plan where your reloads are going to go.
Yeah. So who here intentionally was like, oh, I'll just reload when I need to reload? All right, that's fine. And some people will be like, that's what I would tactically do, so that's what I'm going to do. That's fine too. But if you're a little smarter in terms of playing the game, what are you doing? You don't want to be down at the very end, standing there looking at 3 more targets going, oh, you know, and having to do a reload. So plan ahead. And then also we had a malfunction. One of you had a malfunction. That was you. That sometimes just happens. And like all of a sudden you're on the clock and you're like, what's going on here? And
I was empty.
yeah.
That should have been a clue.
Yep. So there's how much like thought all of a sudden is going, like how much is going on in your brain all of a sudden when you're like, crap, right?
You're not expecting it.
Yep. Yep. And every time I shoot a match, there's always something that doesn't go quite how I want or envisioned it to go. And I mean, it's uncomfortable in the moment, but I love that because we want to be encouraged to have to think on our feet and solve problems. And while this is a game, do you think it's a great skill to have an agile mind and solve problems on your feet? Yeah, right? So this encourages that because it happens all the time. All the time.
Do you value mental reps in advance? Like the Blue Angels, F1 drivers will sit there quietly and visualize the whole thing. Do you do that? Do you do it the day before? Do you do it right before, or
Yes.
both?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Could you repeat that question so I hear it on the thing? 'Cause it's a really good question.
So the question was, what's my thoughts or opinion on visualization? Like F1 drivers, you mentioned Blue Angels, so like high performance individuals, a lot of times high performance with like high stakes too, which means there's zero room for failure. What I've learned is that to achieve max performance, visualization is a huge tool.